My ex-boss smirked when he told me, "Your services are no longer required." 1 year later, his own lawyer was practically begging me to name my price. And the judge, she looked him in the eye and said, "We're honestly tired of seeing your name in this courtroom." Pause. Here's how they tried to exploit me and accidentally handed me the perfect revenge. If you've ever been underestimated, disrespected, or treated like you were disposable, this story is going to hit different. So before we dive in, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for one of the most satisfying workplace revenge stories you'll hear today. A few years ago, I was 35, ambitious, and proud of the career I'd built for myself. I worked as an SEO copywriter and social media manager for a well-known Italian company. On paper, it looked impressive. I reported directly to the general manager, let's call him Big Boss, and his loyal sidekick, Mini Boss. But from day one, something felt off. When they hired me, they didn't actually hire me. They forced me to open a VAT number, a Partita IVA, and work as a freelancer. Except I wasn't freelancing. I worked 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, exclusively for them. I had deadlines, meetings, direct supervision. I reported to management like any full-time employee. The only difference? No employee protections, no benefits, no security. When I raised concerns, Big Boss gave me that patronizing smile, the kind that makes your skin itch. "Don't worry," he said. "Through us, you'll make connections, you'll grow." Spoiler alert, that never happened. But I worked anyway, and I worked hard. I never missed a deadline, not once. I delivered campaigns early. Clients praised my work in emails. Management forwarded compliments. "Excellent work. Brilliant copy. Outstanding engagement metrics." I kept those emails, every single one, because something in my gut told me I might need them one day. The real problem wasn't the workload. It was the unfairness. Mini Boss's girlfriend worked there. Big Boss's mistress worked there. Yes, both on payroll. Neither of them could do their jobs. They made mistake after mistake. Sent wrong drafts to clients, missed deadlines, uploaded incorrect data. And when things exploded, guess who cleaned it up? Me. And when I politely pointed out the issues, the tension in the room would turn icy. They didn't like competence. They liked loyalty, blind loyalty. I wasn't rude. I wasn't aggressive, but I didn't pretend incompetence was brilliance either. And that made me inconvenient. The firing 7 months in, Mini Boss called me into his office. No HR, no written notice, no email, just him. He avoided eye contact. "Your services are no longer required." That was it. No explanation, no documentation, just dismissed. For a split second, my chest tightened. Heat rushed to my face. 7 months of loyalty, of late nights, of cleaning up their messes, gone, but instead of exploding, I smiled. Calmly, I said, "I'd like to speak to Big Boss." "Not possible," he replied quickly, interesting. So I looked him in the eye and said something that made him visibly nervous. "This isn't over." His posture stiffened. "Are you threatening the company?" And I'll never forget how steady my voice felt. "Threats are for people who aren't sure they'll win. I'm making a promise. It's just a matter of time." I stood up, walked out, heart pounding, but not from fear, from clarity. They had made a mistake. The turning point that same week, I sat in a lawyer's office. We laid everything out, fake freelance status, fixed working hours, exclusive employment. No written termination notice, no proper procedure. My lawyer leaned back and said, "This is illegal." Music to my ears. We filed for wrongful termination and labor violations. And then the gift arrived. Big Boss, in all his inflated ego, personally responded to my lawyer's formal communication. Not professionally, not strategically, emotionally. A long, angry email filled with insults, personal attacks, condescending remarks. He couldn't help himself. It was like watching someone dig their own grave enthusiastically. My lawyer read it twice and smiled. "This," he said, "is beautiful." The long wait now, if you know anything about Italian bureaucracy, it's slow, painfully slow. A year passed, 12 months of silence, but I wasn't idle. I built a 200-page dossier. 200 pages, emails, chats, invoices, photos, client praise, work schedules, proof of exclusivity. I documented everything with obsessive precision. Every timestamp, every instruction, every contradiction. Because if there's one thing more powerful than anger, it's evidence. The delicious moment, it was Christmas season when my lawyer finally filed the full dossier. Most people were drinking wine, opening gifts, celebrating. Less than a week later, their lawyer contacted us. The tone, completely different. Gone was the arrogance, gone was the ego, now there was urgency. They didn't want to go to trial, they wanted settlement. And here's the part I'll never forget. Their lawyer practically begged me to name my price. I remember staring at my phone, rereading the email. The same company that dismissed me without notice now wanted my mercy. I met with my lawyer. We chose a 5-figure number. Not small, not outrageous, fair. We sent it, and they accepted. No negotiation, no arguments, no drama, just acceptance, because they knew they were cornered. The courtroom on the day of the settlement hearing, I walked into the courtroom calm. Big Boss was there. He didn't smirk this time. He didn't avoid eye contact. He looked smaller. The judge reviewed the documentation, flipped through pages, nodded, then she did something I didn't expect. She congratulated me and my lawyer for the thoroughness, for the organization, for the clarity. And then she turned to my ex-boss. Her tone shifted, sharp, direct. She warned him about his appalling conduct, then added something that felt like pure vindication. "We're honestly tired of seeing your name in this courtroom." Silence. You could feel it in the air. This wasn't his first offense. He wasn't a victim of misunderstanding. He was a repeat offender, and now it was documented, officially. The payoff, when the settlement was finalized and the payment processed, I didn't scream. I didn't celebrate loudly. Instead, I exhaled. Deeply, it wasn't about the money. It was about validation, about being told you were right, you weren't crazy, you weren't overreacting, you weren't too sensitive. They had tried to exploit me. They underestimated me. They thought I would quietly disappear. Instead, I documented, I prepared, I waited, and when the moment came, they paid. Literally. Here's the thing about people who exploit others. They rely on silence, on fear, on exhaustion. But when you stay calm, collect evidence, and let the system work, sometimes karma doesn't need drama. It just needs documentation. If this story gave you that satisfying justice feeling, hit like and tell me in the comments. Have you ever been underestimated and proved someone wrong? And of course, subscribe for more emotionally charged revenge stories where karma always finds its way back. See you in the next one.